Iverson was one of the most polarizing NBA players ever. On the court, he was a pure scorer, a killer dribbler, and a ferocious competitor. Off the court, he was a crowd magnet, a fashion icon, and a party animal. He was the best and the worst teammate at the same time, a coach's dream for one game and a nightmare the next. AI was hated by many, but is still one of the most beloved NBA players ever. He was the least efficient player who won a scoring title, and a bad defender that led the league in steals. His nickname was The Answer. But even 10 years after he retired, the question remains, was Iverson really as good as he was popular? Growing up in poverty, 5-star recruit, and a convict. Allen Iverson was born on June 7, 1975, in Hampton, Virginia. And growing up, he played both basketball and football, and he was considered a 5-star recruit in both sports. As a junior, Iverson led his Bethel High School to state titles as a point guard in basketball and a quarterback in football, and was named as Virginia Player of the Year in both sports. Iverson was destined for greatness. But then on February 14, 1993, one incident nearly terminated his career before it really began. Allen was hanging out with teammates in a bowling alley, and then a fight broke out. And because he was the most famous teenager in the state, Allen got singled out and unjustly accused of injuring a woman with a chair. The prosecution waited 8 months before he turned 18, so they could judge him as an adult. Iverson got sentenced for 5 years in prison, plus 10 years on parole. He served 4 months in a correctional facility in Newport before the governor of Virginia overturned his conviction due to insufficient evidence. Still, due to his new reputation as a convict, NCAA universities withdrew their scholarships, and his basketball career was not yet salvaged. After a hearty letter from Allen's mother, Georgetown's coach John Thompson accepted Iverson's plea, and Allen repaid him with electrifying performances on the court. AI led Georgetown to the Elite Eight and made the first team All-American as a sophomore. And he was named Big East Defensive Player of the Year in both years as a Hoya. With 22.9 points per game, he is still an all-time Georgetown leader in scoring average. Following his sophomore year, Iverson declared for the 1996 NBA draft. He was the first player under Coach Thompson to leave Georgetown early for the NBA, where he was selected with the #1 overall pick by the Sixers. At 6'0" and 175 pounds, AI became the shortest and the lightest #1 pick ever. Rookie of the Year and rise to superstardom. In the 1980s, Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas set the trail for point guards to be the focal points of a championship team. Although they could score the ball, both Magic and Isaiah were old-school, pass-first point guards who have won titles as passers in teams loaded with talent. In the 90s, the game slowed down significantly and became very predictable due to the huge number of isolations for high-scoring guards and small forwards, and post-ups from bigs. There were still pass-first point guards such as John Stockton and Jason Kidd, but the new wave of point guards was emerging, with Iverson at the helm. AI played shoot-first, ask-questions-later kind of basketball that changed the point guard position forever, largely due to his influence. In a stacked draft class with Kobe, Ray Allen, Stephon Marbury, Steve Nash, and Antoine Walker, Allen dominated